When we think about threats to our brain health, our minds often conjure up images of dramatic events, things that seem sudden and catastrophic. We tend to focus on the obvious, the things that make headlines, injury, illness. But what if the real danger, the most insidious threat, is something far more subtle, something we encounter every day, so commonplace that we barely even notice it? It's not a rare disease lurking in the shadows or a toxic chemical that requires a hazmat suit. It's a silent force, working gradually, almost imperceptibly, shrinking our brains over time. A force that is slowly eroding memory, stealing away those precious moments and experiences, mood and clarity. It clouds our thinking, making it harder to focus and concentrate. The human brain, with its astonishing network of 86 billion neurons, is remarkably resilient, a testament to the power of nature. But even with all its complexity and strength, it is not invincible. It's vulnerable to certain influences. Certain lifestyle factors, often overlooked, can significantly speed up the natural, age-related process of brain shrinkage. And this process can begin far earlier than we might expect, sometimes as early as our 30s. The main culprit? What is this hidden threat that we are talking about? It's not just about diet or exercise, although those are certainly important pieces of the puzzle. It's something more pervasive, a constant presence woven into the fabric of modern life. Imagine your brain as a bustling city, a vibrant hub of activity and information processing. Think of neurons as the buildings that make up the city, and the connections between them as the roads that allow for communication and transportation. Now picture a daily tremor, a subtle but persistent disturbance that shakes the city, slowly cracking foundations, weakening infrastructure, and disrupting the flow of traffic. This is what happens to your brain under the influence of a hidden habit, a seemingly harmless routine. The changes are subtle at first, so subtle that you might not even notice them. But over time, these small changes accumulate, adding up to a real, measurable loss of brain volume and function. Today, we're going to reveal this surprising threat, exposing it to the light. We'll delve into the science behind its impact, exploring the mechanisms by which it affects our brains. And most importantly, we'll show you that you have the power to stop this process in its tracks. You can even reverse some of the damage, taking advantage of the brain's remarkable ability to heal and adapt. By understanding the risk, by becoming aware of this hidden threat, and by using practical, science-backed strategies, tools that have been proven to work, you can protect your brain, preserving its health and vitality for years to come. The journey to a healthier, more resilient brain starts now with this very information. Let's pull back the curtain on what's really shrinking our brains, exposing the truth behind this silent threat, and discover how you can take control of your cognitive future, ensuring a sharper, healthier mind for life. What if the very fabric of our modern lives is subtly reshaping our brains, and not for the better? The hidden habit shrinking our brains? Chronic stress. It's a pervasive undercurrent in today's society, a silent epidemic affecting millions. Not the short bursts that help us react in emergencies, the kind that sharpens our focus and gets us out of danger, but the relentless, low-level stress that lingers day after day, a constant hum in the background of our lives. It's the kind of stress that doesn't trigger a dramatic response, but slowly wears us down. Worrying about bills, the constant pressure of financial uncertainty, job pressure, the never-ending deadlines and performance expectations. Endless notifications, the constant barrage of information vying for our attention. These are the new normal, the accepted stressors of contemporary life that we often dismiss as simply being busy. Our always-on culture blurs work and life, creating a situation where we're never truly off, keeping us in a state of constant alert, always anticipating the next demand or crisis. Many don't even recognize it as stress anymore. It just feels like life. It's become so ingrained in our daily routines that we've lost sight of its impact. But beneath the surface, chronic stress is triggering powerful biological changes, quietly wreaking havoc on our bodies and minds. Surveys show most adults feel significant stress, highlighting the widespread nature of this problem. Reporting irritability, fatigue, and overwhelm, all telltale signs of a body under siege. This isn't just emotional, it's a physical state with tangible consequences for our health. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, the main stress hormone, designed to help us cope with immediate threats. In small doses, cortisol is helpful, providing a boost of energy and focus when we need it most. But when it's always present, It starts to damage the brain, disrupting neural pathways and impairing cognitive function. It's like a slow drip of a neurotoxin we create ourselves, gradually eroding our mental capacity. Unlike other health risks, stress is unavoidable, but our environment has supercharged it, amplifying its effects and making it harder to manage. From morning emails, the first thing many of us reach for upon waking, to late-night doom scrolling, endlessly consuming negative news and social media updates, our nervous systems rarely get a break, constantly bombarded with stimuli and demands. This constant activation is quietly, methodically shrinking our brains, impacting memory, focus, and overall cognitive health. The real danger isn't dramatic. It's the stress we've come to accept as normal, the everyday pressures we've learned to tolerate. And it's time to change that, to recognize the insidious effects of chronic stress and take proactive steps to protect our brains and our well-being. For years, the idea that stress could physically change the brain was just a theory, but with advanced brain scans, we now see the effects clearly. Studies show people with chronic stress have less gray matter in key brain regions. Gray matter is where thinking, memory, and emotion happen. Chronic stress reduces its volume, especially in areas for memory and decision-making. Cortisol disrupts the birth of new neurons and weakens connections between existing ones. It can even trigger inflammation, further harming brain cells. Even everyday stressors like work burnout can cause these changes. The daily grind, if unmanaged, is actively reshaping our brains for the worse. To understand the profound ways in which stress can actually shrink the brain over time, we need to delve into the intricate workings of specific brain regions. Let's focus specifically on the amygdala, often referred to as your brain's fear center. This small but mighty structure plays a pivotal role in processing emotions, especially those related to fear and anxiety. Normally, in the face of immediate danger, the amygdala is responsible for triggering the fight-or-flight response. This is a crucial survival mechanism that prepares your body to either confront or escape from real danger. But what happens when stress becomes chronic, a persistent undercurrent in your daily life? Under chronic stress, the amygdala doesn't just react. It becomes hyperactive, constantly on high alert. This heightened activity can lead to structural changes, and the amygdala can even grow larger over time. As the amygdala enlarges, it starts to perceive threats everywhere, even in situations that are not inherently dangerous. This leads to a state of hypervigilance, keeping you in a constant state of alert, always scanning for potential dangers. This overactive amygdala significantly contributes to feelings of anxiety, making you more prone to worry and unease. Furthermore, it can make you more irritable, leading to emotional outbursts and amplified reactions to everyday stressors. This phenomenon is often referred to as an amygdala hijack, a situation where your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets sidelined by the overwhelming surge of fear emanating from the amygdala. The more stressed you are on a consistent basis, the more pronounced this effect becomes, with the amygdala growing bigger and more dominant in its influence over your thoughts and behaviors. This creates a vicious cycle, where stress contributes to the growth of the amygdala, and a bigger amygdala, in turn, amplifies your perception of stress, making you feel even more stressed. The result of this relentless cycle? Often it manifests as poor sleep, characterized by difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. It also leads to a weakened immune system, making you more susceptible to illness and infections. Ultimately, it traps your brain in a persistent state of survival mode, constantly primed for fight or flight. Chronic stress, therefore, doesn't just shrink the brain in certain areas, it actively rewires it to expect danger at every turn, altering neural pathways and reinforcing a negative feedback loop. Breaking free from this cycle is absolutely crucial for your overall well-being and mental health. Let's delve deeper and see how stress affects the brain's decision-making center, the prefrontal cortex, next. Now let's look at the prefrontal cortex, the brain's CEO. It handles decision-making, self-control, and focus. Chronic stress shrinks the prefrontal cortex and weakens its connections. That's why stress makes it hard to concentrate, solve problems, or resist impulses. The PFC normally keeps the amygdala in check, helping you respond rationally. But when stress weakens the PFC, the amygdala's alarm bells go unchecked. This leads to emotional volatility, poor decisions, and impulsive behavior. It can hurt your work relationships and health choices. The shrinkage of the prefrontal cortex robs you of the very tools you need to manage stress. It's not a failure of willpower, it's a physical change in your brain. To regain control, you need to strengthen this vital region. Next, let's see how stress threatens your memory and what you can do about it. The hippocampus, your brain's memory center, is especially vulnerable to stress. It forms new memories and helps you recall old ones. Chronic cortisol floods the hippocampus, halting the birth of new neurons and shrinking its size. This leads to forgetfulness, trouble learning, and memory lapses, often mistaken for normal aging. The link between stress, hippocampal shrinkage, and memory loss is clear. Protecting your memory isn't just about puzzles, it's about managing stress. Preserving your hippocampus is key to lifelong cognitive health. Let's explore how you can fight back. The good news, brain shrinkage from stress isn't always permanent. Your brain can heal if you take action. Exercise is one of the best tools. Even a brisk walk helps clear cortisol and boosts BDNF, a molecule that grows new brain cells. Mindfulness meditation is another. Just 10-15 minutes a day can shrink the amygdala and strengthen the prefrontal cortex. Sleep is essential. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins, including excess cortisol. Aim for 7-9 hours of quality sleep and keep a relaxing bedtime routine. These habits aren't luxuries, they're necessities for brain health. By moving from passive stress to active management, you can protect and even rebuild your brain. Start small, but start today. Your future self will thank you. Next, let's look at the power of connection and purpose. These are just as vital as any habit. Building a resilient brain isn't just about habits, it's about connection and purpose. Meaningful relationships release oxytocin, which counters cortisol and calms your brain. In our digital world, real connection is rare, so make time for friends, family, and community. These bonds act as an emotional buffer, reminding your brain you're safe. Purpose is another powerful stress buffer. It doesn't have to be grand, just something meaningful to you. Volunteering, learning, or creative hobbies shift your focus from stress to fulfillment. Purpose gives you resilience, helping you weather life's storms. When you feel connected and purposeful, your brain is better equipped to handle stress. These aren't extras, they're essential for long-term brain health. Find your tribe, find your why, and make them part of your routine. They're investments in your mind's future. Now let's bring it all together. We've uncovered how chronic stress silently reshapes your brain, enlarging the fear center, shrinking memory and decision-making regions. But this isn't a story of despair, it's one of empowerment. You are the primary guardian of your brain's health. Every choice you make, exercise, mindfulness, sleep, connection, purpose, shapes your brain's future. Chronic stress is powerful, but your actions are more powerful. Think of your brain as a living garden. Stress is the drought, but you are the gardener. With the right tools, you can help your brain grow, adapt, and thrive. Protecting your brain is the best investment in your future happiness and well-being. The science is clear, and the path forward is in your hands. Start today, your future self will thank you. Your brain story isn't set in stone. You have the power to write the next chapter. Choose resilience. Choose growth. Choose a healthier brain.